Hello everybody, welcome back. Of course, been reading the paper, and Margot has passed away. She is 69 years old. And I don't know if anybody knows, I'm speaking from Canada. She had an affair with our former Prime Minister, Pierre Elliott Trudeau. I'm not sure if he was still married at the time. I believe that he was. However, the Prime Minister's residence in Canada is called 24 Sussex Drive. It's a mansion in downtown Ottawa. And I remember at the time, because I lived through all those years, her affair with Mr. Trudeau was relatively well reported. And in her own words, she said that when she was on the back lawn of 24 Sussex Drive at night, playing Indian with the Prime Minister, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police security team would turn their backs at inappropriate moments. Now, I'm not sure what that means. I think there was a bit of sexual playfulness happening. Anyway, Mr. Trudeau and her went on to their relationship. I'm not sure how long it lasted. She is, of course, an American actress who's famous for playing Lois Lane in Superman movies. And she's also acted in other things, of course. So the thing about her influence on the Prime Minister of Canada is that she convinced him that he should start a major initiative in our foreign policy, which he did. It had to do with some sort of peace initiative or other, which was her idea. It wasn't his, but she convinced him to do it. And I always thought to myself, how could this be that the leader of a country who's having an affair with a woman, you see what they call this in England? They call it pillow talk. Most people in Canada, we're not that international. We're not even what I would call cosmopolitan. I've traveled a little bit when I was younger. I wish I'd had more money. I'd have traveled more. But when you get out into the world and you get to see things where, let's say, there is, they call it hanky-panky in the United States. In England, I've forgotten what the term is for a man having an affair with another woman. And usually, when they get caught, if you're the leader of the country, there's a resignation. In Canada, that didn't happen. Mr. Trudeau had several women from Hollywood. I've lost count of how many there are. You'd have to look them up. He was very proud of his French heritage, and he used to be called a sportif, which was a French term like an athletic young man. And I always thought, you know, why isn't he in France dating the French film stars, of which there are quite a number, and they are great-looking women, in my opinion. And why isn't he vacationing in the south of France on the Mediterranean? It seems so simple. That it were so simple. So, but he didn't. And now we have his son as the leader of our country. And when he vacations, he's a very proud Frenchman too, but he does not go to France to vacation. He doesn't take his wife and 3 children to France. He goes to a private island off of Bermuda that's owned by a Muslim man. What's his name? I think he goes by this name of Aga Khan, but he's got a very long title. And he was, when Mr. Trudeau became the Prime Minister, he came hat in hand looking for $15 million to support his project of, I believe he called it pluralcy. And Mr. Trudeau sat in on the meetings, and the $15 million grant was approved. And Mr. Trudeau said that his being present had nothing to do with the approval. It held no sway whatsoever. These things are baffling to me. I just want to, if you understood how Canada is, I don't know if anybody knows really how it works, but in my opinion and my experience, the Prime Minister of Canada is a dictator, is a fascist dictator, in fact. I would call it fascism through and through, because we cannot find justice in our courtrooms. The leader of the country appoints all of the judges, federally, all of them. No member of the public is permitted to ask a question. Not just federally, provincially as well. All the premiers of the province. It's up to them, whoever they want to put there. And it's a very important thing to the people. Not that a politician gets that in Canada, because we have it now in this country. You cannot find justice in the courtrooms. It is not allowed. In fact, Justin Trudeau, the new Prime Minister, he said the government can't afford these payouts. The government clearly is at fault, very clearly at fault, and has caused great harm to many people. But we can't get justice. We can't, there is no way for us to be even compensated for our losses. They won't do it. I have been before many judges. I have been for many. And they all end up, they give the Crown another 30 days. They hope you die. You know, they can't stand you. I can see, I look at their faces and I think, you know, you don't actually like me or any member of the public who is self-represented. The judges of Canada don't like it. And I've often said this, and this is still true, and you'll find it's percolated all the way through the judiciary of Canada. I'm going to call it what it is, because that is what it is. Even to the Supreme Court. The people of Canada are referred to by some judges, and probably all of them, that we are riffraff. But look at it from the point of view of the judge. The judge is under the guidance and the control of the Government of Canada. That's what it says. And they're told what to do. Give you a very good example. I have it over there. I'll see if I can introduce it to this video. A man named Omar Khadr, who's responsible for killing an American soldier and seriously wounding another. Mr. Trudeau, he brought a case of some sort to government, and Mr. Trudeau had made sure, in fact he sat in on it, $10.5 million got paid. It was written in one day, delivered in one day, and cleared in one day, which is impossible to do. But the Prime Minister, in my opinion, and I believe this is certainly true, made sure that it happened. You'll find he even phoned the judge to make sure it would happen. And the wife of the survivor of the American soldier who was killed, brought a lawyer to Canada, and he's a member of the Bar of Canada, and he brought an application to seize the money until the hearing is over. The judge poo-pooed it and threw their case out. But you will find, if you could get the phone record of the judge, and you won't, because it's a secret in Canada. It's a secret here. If you could get the phone records or see his mail, you'll find that he has been instructed to throw it out. Now, Justin Trudeau is a great personal friend of Barack Obama, former Prime President of the United States. I'm wondering what Barack Obama would have to say about this. Not that he talks much about that. Obviously, he doesn't like Donald Trump, and this agreement with Iran that's apparently been cancelled, it turned out Barack Obama did not sign it. It is an unsigned agreement, so there's no cancelling. Even Angela Merkel flew to the United States to visit with Donald Trump and find out why did he cancel this nuclear deal that they cooked up. As Donald Trump told her, says, nobody ever signed it. I didn't cancel anything. It is unsigned. You have all acted on it, but no signatures here. Now, it could be that this is fake news we're watching, because we're all victims of fake news. I'm going to have to be careful. I've been having a few complaints about how long my videos run. I liked Margot Kidder. She was bipolar, of course. She had mental problems. And I have some personal views on mental problems, because I think, in particular, we are being manipulated, for one thing. You have to decide in your life if you're going to go along with the preference. In fact, I'll just tell you how this goes in Canada. Justin Trudeau says he is going to drag everybody into, I'm paraphrasing here, he refers to most Canadians as Neanderthals. Men in particular are Neanderthals. And he's very heavy on pushing women and getting them ahead, either in entrepreneurs or as politicians. He's loading up the Government of Canada with women. A lot of them are from Quebec, his favorite province, of course, which has always been an influence. I've noticed this when we have Prime Ministers of Canada from the province of Quebec. They load up the government with people of Quebec. I don't think they should be doing this, but they do it anyway, for whatever reason. I think it's a personal reason. Anyway, Justin Trudeau has been referring to some people in Canada, men in particular, as Neanderthals. He seems to be the only one who knows the score and where we're all going to go, as though it was a social development of Canada to throw out the dross and only to keep the good. However, I'm having a personal problem. I just sent him a letter, in fact, and I've sent one to Elections Canada. I'll have to do a video on that one. But the one I sent him was like, you put this woman from Quebec in position, and I wrote her a letter of complaint to her, and she just regurgitated from the other letters that I had gotten from Revenue Canada. And she's the Minister for Revenue Canada, which has now got a new name. Every time we get a new Prime Minister in Canada, they change the names of the departments. I don't know what it is. They've got this issue here in their minds that they don't like the name, so they change the name. That's another issue. But anyway, I've written back to her. I said, you have just regurgitated what I've already read. You claim I owe you $2,275 or something. What is it for? It is not unpaid taxes. What the hell is it? I have no answer yet, and I don't think I'm going to get one. It's just that Revenue Canada, I don't know if you know this, but in Canada now, they make up all kinds of shit about people. They have destroyed a family out here in Vancouver Island. I'm pointing that way because it's west of me. Absolutely destroyed this family. And it turned out they made it all up. So, the guy who got destroyed thought he should be able to sue the government of Canada. The judge says, can't prosecute the prosecutor. That's Napoleonic Code. That's fascism. That's how we live in this country. Our brave men and women who go offshore to fight in Afghanistan and come back wearing sticks, legs for sticks, sticks for legs, sticks for arms, and yet Prince Harry's got them all competing in Toronto, and he's got all these politicians. Barack Obama's there, Michelle Obama's there, Donald Trump's wife showed up. I noticed that everyone sort of ostracized her, even though she was sitting with them. You can see the photograph yourself. She's obviously being ostracized. However, Prince Harry made a mistake here. Prince Harry doesn't take off his prosthetics when he goes to bed with his fabulous-looking girlfriend. He doesn't take them off. These men and women who are coming back to Canada, missing arms, legs, eyeballs gone, what are they doing? They have to suffer through it for the rest of their life. Prince Harry with the red beard, you know, oh, piff, puff, piffle. That's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. But he, you know, and he goes down, he laughs with the feeling, but he doesn't stick around. I think it's gallows humor. It's terrible what he did. And here's our Prime Minister with his wife, and they're applauding, you know, and laughing. These men and women on the floor who are competing, they've got sticks for arms and sticks for legs. Good God. Can't you see what you've done to them? And they keep trying to get, in Canada, these injured soldiers want their support, which they were promised. And Justin Trudeau says, we can't afford it. We can't. Justin Trudeau is bringing more than 300,000 immigrants a year to Canada. They cost about $100,000 each. That's a whole lot of money. Where did he get the money for that? He ignored the military people, and he's the head of the military. He ignored them. But we're getting a whole bunch of immigrants. Some of them can't speak English, and they can't speak French. So they have to be trained in English. They got to have language training first. And then they need job skills, right? And they're competing with the rest of us for jobs. And there aren't any damn jobs here in Canada that pay anything more than like Tim Hortons is going to pay them, or McDonald's. Very low incomes here. Very low. Mr. Trudeau seems to be happy to make us reflect. And we had a racist outburst in Alberta not long ago, a woman from British Columbia actually, and it was a woman. Now, Mr. Trudeau didn't say anything, but he has a problem because he is heavily leaning toward feminism and women in particular. So I'm not surprised that he didn't speak out, because it was a woman that spoke out, and she had her own opinion. And in a democracy, you should respect the opinions of other people. Let them speak. We're all being muzzled right now. The newspapers will muzzle you. They won't carry the report. The people, the journalists, when they come around, oh, I'm not speaking to him. No, he's got something to say. Oh, no. But if they agree with me, okay, we'll speak to them. If they agree with the Prime Minister, we'll speak to them. We're seeing this in the United States very severely. A lot of opposition from journalism for Donald Trump. And so they choose to either augment the story or totally ignore the story. Please think about that. My name is Terry Wheaton. I've had a death in my family last week. It's difficult right now. It's my older brother. Suffered from cancer for a long time. Rest in peace, Eric. Bye-bye, everybody.